Hi, I'm Elaine. I went to see Eckhart in Vancouver on the 15th of June 2024 in an amazing location. And you could see the mountains, and it was a crystal clear night. And apparently in Vancouver, we have a reputation of being late. So it started late, about 25 minutes before everybody came in. So Eckhart was saying some stories, waiting for everybody to enter. But he stayed the entire time for the 2 hours. So the last time I saw Eckhart one-on-one, from 1997 to 2000, Eckhart was my teacher. And he was my teacher one-on-one. So he would sit in a chair and I would sit in a chair, and then we would talk and I could ask him anything. And the big thing that I learned is that we all have to find our own answers and connect with our own inner being, with that presence inside of us, and awakening that inner being and paying attention to the pain body, what Eckhart calls the pain body. So the pain body, there is an inner pain body. So something happens and it activates that pain body inside. And so some people are able to just observe it and hold the space for the pain body. Other people have called the pain body the shadow. And other teachers have called it the conscious mind. Dolores Cannon, that does QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, she calls it Mr. Stupid. But Eckhart's word is the pain body. And so there is an internal pain body from our experiences and everything that's happened to us. And then there's also a universal pain body. So in the spiritual world, and other teachers have talked about this, that there is this pain body that kind of, when you have a very low vibration, so you don't have very much light inside of you, you don't have very much of your light being activated, and that's your beingness. That's what Eckhart calls presence. When you don't have much presence, the pain body is what drives most of your decisions and most of your life. And he said that the example that he used was the trust fund kids, or the trust fund babies that have been very secluded and have been kind of given everything. And so they eventually at some point will have to kind of face inside themselves, kind of what is going on the inside as well as going on the outside. And the old kind of, what he said, the old tricks, the money, the multiple relationships, the trips, the luxury, all of that, it doesn't help with the pain body. It doesn't help deactivate the pain body. It doesn't help lessen the pain body. And so what feeds the pain body is, controlling others, feeling like you have more than others, so you are not helpless. And if there's any shame, you'll just kind of spend away the shame or pick up another relationship. Eckhart used the example of pick up another marriage. She's great, he's great, and then they're not, and they're not. And so, but that pain body is still getting activated. And so he said that is really what we are becoming aware of. And even if you sat and you meditated for 8 hours, the pain body is still not going to go away. So it is something that we all, as humans on earth, that we have to face it at some point in our lives. So either some people do it actively, where they're actively working with their pain body. And Eckhart actively worked with me for 3 years with my pain body. And I became quite conscious with Eckhart. And I would say I had one more step. And the step was letting go and surrendering. And so what you're surrendering to and letting go of is you are letting go of your old life in a way. So because consciousness has to be chosen on earth, we can't bring all our loved ones and our family members or the people that we know, we can't bring them into that consciousness, that presence, that awakening. They have to choose it for themselves. And so as you awaken, your light body, so your consciousness, your presence, it then can agitate. If people have a lot of a pain body and they haven't really worked on that shadow or the pain body, it really activates their pain body. And so you'd think that with more consciousness, a person that has quite a bit of a pain body or hasn't really faced or looked at or healed it, you'd think that it would feel good to have kind of this light and this bubble of love and this, it's mostly light, but it's energy. And you'd think that it would feel good, but it doesn't. And they usually will take it out on the person that is activating their light and have less of a pain body. And so I wasn't young, I was 30, and so I could have just carried on and kept going forward. And I had done a lot of work, and Eckhart helped me. For 3 years, he helped me because he was curious. He wanted to see, from having quite a pain body, can I awaken the light inside of me? And can he help me? And he helped many students in Vancouver and around the world. And I'd said no. And so when I said no, everything shut down. And Eckhart, he never told me that much about my destiny or who I am or what I'm meant to do, because that is for me to discover. But when I told him that I wanted to be normal and I wanted to fit in and I'm going to shut everything down, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And he knew what a big deal it was. So when you activate the light inside of you, that you're connecting basically to presence, so that the universe, all there is, and that consciousness, and you're awakening that inside of you, and then to shut it down, and it was like described, and what it felt like was turning back into a lump of coal. So not very much light, not very much energy. And it's a very painful process. And he said it would be difficult for me, and it would take me 23 years to come back. And he was right. It took me 23 years of doing it bit by bit. So when I did it one-on-one with Eckhart, I had moments from the time I became an adult, I had moments of awakening. And then the big awakening happened when I did it one-on-one. But I wanted to see, I guess I just wanted to see if I could be the way I was and then fit in with my family. And he said, it's impossible. And it is impossible. And now I understand why. So I had to do all the slow awakening, like he said, and I did it. And it wasn't easy, but I came back. And that means that I awakened that presence and that light inside of me. And so now I know the difference. Now I'm super conscious of that connection to the higher beings, to the universe, and what that means when you play with your light and the light body and the pain body. But what I've also realized and what I see is that there is the collective pain body. And the collective pain body, we can see it on the news and we can see it in how people talk to each other, that there is this pain, that people feed off this pain, because it's mostly what we hear. We rarely hear the good stories. And so that's what Eckhart was talking about. He was saying that even if you're in jail, that he has letters from people that have awakened while they're in jail. And there's people that are billionaires that have a ton of money, but they have a very active pain body, which means they could have high anxiety, high depression, different addictions. That's what the pain body loves. The pain body loves addictions. They love multiple relationships. They love all the chaos and all the drama, all the deceit, all the lying, all the controlling, all of the different kinds of luxuries that bring a lot of addiction. The pain body loves all of that stuff, but it doesn't give you that sense of awakening inside. And so, when you see Eckhart, he's so happy and he's so calm and he's so easy and he's so joyful. And that's exactly what he was like when I knew him in 1997 to 2000. He still has that same joy and that same buoyancy because he doesn't have a pain body. It's gone, and it was gone from the time he was 29. So I would have been 29 when I awakened, when I was working one-on-one with Eckhart. And I got scared and I pulled it all down, basically. And he told me that it would be painful and how to come back. And so I did it. And so even though it felt very far away, his messages, I still came back. And so how I did it was, the real awakening is connecting with your senses. And so for Eckhart, he says, focus on your hands and your feet, and then go inside the inner body. And so when you're in the inner body, it feels really good, way better than any alcohol, drug, relationship, luxury item. It really feels amazing. And so with awakening your senses, you're hearing, you're smelling, you're tasting, and you're activating all the cells in your body. And then you're connected, and you realize you're connected to the universe. You've always been connected to the universe, but now you've become conscious of it, that the universe is flowing and you're flowing. So that's kind of how I would say that with Eckhart, even though I knew him and I worked with him one-on-one every Tuesday, and I was a very good student. And then I joined his School of Awakening as a teacher trainer. And I love it. And so I was curious when I saw Eckhart again in this big convention conference, how did it feel? And I felt like exactly when we were one-on-one, that is how present Eckhart is, how joyful he is, and how easily he communicates his message. And the one thing that he said, that even though I knew him in the late 1990s to 2000, he said something that I'd never heard him say. And he said when he wakes up in the morning and he goes to sleep at night, he has a picture. I can't remember if he said it was a picture or a statue or an image. Maybe he just said an image. He has an image of a priestess in Egypt, and her name was Maat, M-A-A-T. And she is the priestess or the goddess of balance, of justice, and she handled the scales. She kind of measured everybody's consciousness and would put a feather on the scale on one side to see how much damage you did to yourself in this life. Basically, because you just have to, there's nobody there saying to you, oh, you did this right or you did this wrong. It's you. You have to face your own decisions, and you have to face your own path and your own awakening and your own life. And so she's there to measure justice. And so that's what we're seeing with the pain body and the inside. We want justice. And also in the outer world, we want justice. We want fairness. And so that really surprised me, because I had never heard Eckhart say that but that's who he sees before he goes to bed, and that's who he sees when he wakes up in the morning.